Well, hello, Craftinistas. I'm back with this album. I picked up this album I've shown in my last video. I've been wanting to do one of these for a while, and I said, let me just dive into it. So I ordered this album, except it has been damaged in the back, but I thought that I would go ahead, long story short, and just go ahead and work with it. So the first thing I did was I mixed some white paint with some Martha Stewart Pearl paint. I wanted to give a little shabby effect, but with me, I like sparkle, so it has that little shine in it. So I kind of went along and painted the whole album that color. Well, I didn't do the whole album. I just did the outsides lines where I could fit my um, pictures and paper would cover, but that would just be on the outside. So I just did my painting first. And so I kind of did a little shabby, so it may not be perfectly filled, but it does cover up, it is going to cover up that brown. So I'm working with some, I want to ink my edges, but instead of using the ink, I went on and used some paint pens. And the paper that I worked with, it looked kind of rosy at first, and then it looked gold. The black one kind of looked like it had rose in it, but initially I decided that the gold would look better. So I went on and took the gold paint pen and inked the edges of this all before I decided to put them on. And then here I'm just going to go ahead and do the inside first and then work my way out. So I'm just going to make sure that I line it up, except that part at the top. It was hard to line that up since it was damaged. But I lined it all up, and then I made sure that it was nice and straight, straightened out everything, and then I went on and folded over the corners. Then I went on and did the other side, the same thing. I just took my paper, made sure that it was straight, and then after I took the score tape off, I went on and burnished the whole thing and then went on and folded it naturally so that the crease line would come in permanently from actually folding it over. So, and it snaps magnetically back together, so I knew that everything was straight. And then this side, I wanted to make everything look pretty during the next half. Before I put paper on there, pictures on there, I wanted to make sure that it looked good nevertheless. So I wanted to dress them up just in case I wanted to leave some of them blank and did pictures on every other one or whatever. So I tried to put some of the sayings in there and kept them. But right now that's what I'm just going to do, is just fill up each one of these photo sleeves. now I've got it all filled up and ready to go. So the next thing I did was work on my sides. I inked the, let's see, I didn't ink. I used my paint pen and painted the outside edges and did the side and then the back of the album using that beautiful paper, and then did the other side. And then I did the front and got that ready. And so the front was pretty busy. I could have layered it and made it not so busy. But then I remembered that I had the middle to do when I opened it up. And I did this. I used a background paper and put those on there, but then I realized that it wouldn't close good. It does have magnets in it. So I'm going to show you. I did mess up here, but all's going to be well. Yeah, I could have colored it in black, but I did some touches of gold in there, and I don't have everything shown on here. But I did some gold, and then I used some stickers that I picked up, and it turned out okay. So just wanted to show that everything isn't all perfect, and you can work with it. So then I took the Prima flowers and then played around with them, kind of got an idea what I was going to do. And I took two of my cards and turned them over and kind of drowned out that busy background, but then it's still there. So it gave me something to play with the solid colors. And then I wanted to tone it down a little bit more. And then I used this trim and I stick this down. And then I decided to add some pearls to it. So I used my fabri-tac, and I use a fabri-tac because if I made a mistake or I didn't like how something was, I could still kind of move it around before it settled in, especially since this is my first time doing this one uh, album, and I wanted to be able to adjust. And with the fabri-tac, you still have some visibility to do that before it's permanent. But here it is. I played with the pearls, I wrapped them around the flowers, and just kind of layered everything. I added some bling to the butterfly. I added some words from my stash, some sentiments there, and just kind of went with the flow. I didn't pick everything up there because I just kind of pedaled around for a while and figured out how I wanted everything. And as you see there, if I would have had glued that down with a glue gun, I wouldn't have been able to turn it and put it the way that I wanted it before it settled. So that fabri-tac just works it out great because after a while that will set permanent. And that was a great example because I ended up flipping it around and putting the flowers on the other side and kind of changing it around, but I love how it turned out. That's why I said you can move things around with that fabri-tac glue, so I'm glad that I used that and didn't use the glue gun. So here I'm just adding some gold to that silver, and I put a little ball on the end of that, and I just used that screw so I can just place my chain on there. I wanted to add a chain with some charms, and I love how this album turned out for my daughter. And I think that with this experience now, I should be able to make some more and gift some and know what I'm doing.